General Hospital spoilers: Michael finally won the custody battle for Wiley and Amelia, a battle that has long drawn attention and tension between the parties involved. Long sleepless nights, intense arguments, and countless legal challenges led everyone to believe that Michael would not be able to win custody of his children. Although he is a loving and determined father, his opponents, Willow and Drew, are no less determined and have less than fair tactics. But in the end, after a relentless fight, Michael won. And everyone involved was surprised by what happened next. However, this victory did not come as clean or easy as everyone thought. Behind the light of victory, there is a dark story that no one expected. Instead of relying solely on evidence and legal arguments in court, Michael chose a different path, a path that few could have imagined. He has revealed a dark secret involving Drew and Willow, longtime friends and powerful figures in this war. The secrets of their relationship, the secret meetings, the secret discussions, and the shady actions they took to manipulate the situation, are now exposed to the light of truth. Everything Drew and Willow did to gain custody of their children is now a weapon in Michael's hands. But what makes the difference is how Michael uses these secrets. Instead of simply exposing the truth in a courtroom, he uses a bold and risky strategy. He uses this information as a blackmail weapon. Michael knows that Drew and Willow cannot let these secrets come out, because if they do, it will not only ruin their reputations but also cost them everything. Drew, who once thought he could protect Willow and the children from the harsh events of life, is now in a situation from which there is no escape. Michael, with his ruthlessness and calculation, takes advantage of this opportunity to put Drew and Willow in a position where they have no choice but to give in. This is not simply a victory in the custody battle, but also a psychological victory. Michael has proven that he is not only a loving and protective father to his children, but also a sharp strategist who knows how to use every tool to achieve his goals. Not only does he win custody, but he also puts Drew and Willow in the biggest shock of their lives. Things they thought would always be kept secret are now exposed. Not only embarrassing them but also forcing them to face the consequences of their past wrongdoings. This story, while seemingly a legal and emotional victory, is actually a powerful indictment of the corruption of family relationships and power struggles. Michael used Drew and Willow's secret as a tool to take what he thought was rightfully his. Not only that, he defeated them not only legally but also emotionally. Drew and Willow, who once thought they could win custody of their children legally and squarely, now feel betrayed by the very people they once trusted. Michael has left them feeling completely helpless, with no way to turn the tables. This also comes as a huge shock to everyone who has followed this battle. Those who once thought that Michael would win with integrity and patience now face the reality that his victory came not from integrity but from a ruthless strategy. A strategy that could have unintended consequences, that if the truth about these blackmails is exposed, Michael could lose everything he has achieved. Yes, in this war, the truth is not only a powerful weapon but also a double-edged sword, which can stab the hands of those who use it. Not only that, Michael's actions in the trial not only affect Drew and Willow's lives but also change the way people perceive him. Michael, in the eyes of many, has become a hero, a great father, but deep down, he is also embarking on a dark path, where he has to live with the decisions he has made. Although he has won, this victory may bring him wounds that cannot be healed. Because the decisions he made will always follow him, haunting him for the rest of his life. The custody battle is not only a legal battle but also a psychological one, where each participant is faced with a choice between conscience and personal goals. And in Michael's case, he chose personal goals, even though it may cost him more than ever. Drew and Willow, after all, may never be the same again, because these shocks have shattered their relationship, forcing them to face a truth they never wanted to face. Tracy, with her cunning nature and strategic talent, has quietly supported Michael in the custody battle for Wiley and Amelia. Their relationship, although seemingly a simple cooperation between mother and son, is in fact part of a grand plan that Tracy has carefully laid out for a long time. This battle is not only a legal battle but also a battle for power, fame and control. And Tracy, with her sharp calculations, played an important role in changing the situation. 4 weeks. Tracy had been monitoring and analyzing the situation, not only assessing Michael's every move but also Drew and Willow's moves. She was not only a mother who worried about her son but also a strategist who understood that this battle would not be simple and that a long-term plan was needed. Therefore, Tracy supported Michael not only emotionally but also tactically, helping him to have the right strategies to win custody of the children. One of the calculations that Tracy made was that she cleverly influenced Michael to use the secrets about Drew and Willow as a blackmail weapon. When Michael had difficulty finding a way to win this legal battle, Tracy realized that, without using this trick, Michael would not be able to overcome Drew and Willow's confrontation. Tracy's position in this battle is not to be a dependent, but to be a controller of situations, helping Michael gain the upper hand. Although Michael loves his children very much, in this situation, he has no choice but to do everything to gain custody of them. With her tact, Tracy suggests that Michael not only seek evidence to win, but also use his knowledge of Drew and Willow's past mistakes. Those secrets are not only necessary information to win in the courtroom, but also a powerful weapon to help Michael put pressure on his opponent. Michael refuses to give in to a fair fight. Instead, he decides to use Drew and Willow's own weaknesses as a weapon to attack, leaving them no choice but to give in. Tracy's approval of these secrets was a bold move, showing that she was not only a loving mother but also a calculating person, willing to do whatever it took to ensure her son's victory. Although Tracy was not directly involved in the legal battles, her role in formulating strategies and deciding tactical moves was undeniable. Her calculations were not limited to supporting Michael but also included influencing those around her, including powerful figures in the Quartermain family, to ensure that everything went according to plan. Tracy did not just use Michael as a tool to achieve her goals, but also arranged everything around her to benefit her family. She was the one behind the scenes, pulling the strings and making everyone follow the steps she had planned in advance. While Michael was naive in his decision to reveal Drew and Willow's secrets, Tracy was fully aware of the dangers of doing so. However, she also understood that if she did not, Michael would not be able to win. Tracy's position in the Quartermain family also made her understand that winning was not just a matter of fairness or morality, but also a matter of power and control. If Michael did not win, not only his interests but also those of the Quartermain family would be threatened. Therefore, Tracy did not hesitate to participate in this conspiracy, and it can be said that things went further than Michael could have imagined. Tracy's calculations pushed the situation further and further, making everything tense and complicated. She created a chain of events that no one could have predicted. The secrets about Drew and Willow were exposed. But that was only the beginning of a big storm that was about to hit. Michael may have won the custody battle, but the price for this victory was very high. His relationships with those around him, especially Drew and Willow, would never be the same. And Tracy's help, while helping Michael achieve his goals, also created a series of tensions and doubts in the Quartermain family. One of the new adjustments that Tracy made was that she not only indirectly participated in the custody battle, but also changed the way the Quartermain family viewed Michael. Previously, Michael may have been seen as a patient, upright, and loving person. But when he decided to follow the path that Tracy laid out, he began to become a different person. One who was not afraid to use unfair means to win. This would certainly change the way people viewed him, and it could have long-term consequences. The relationship between Michael, Drew, and Willow is now beyond repair, and this only adds to the tension in the family. The decisions that Tracy helps Michael make will not only affect the outcome of the custody battle, but also have a profound impact on the relationships within the Quartermain family. She not only created a victory for Michael, but also created cracks in the family that may never be healed. Tracy is not just a strategist, but also a creator of complex situations, forcing everyone to face difficult decisions from which there is no turning back. In this way, Tracy's support is not just a casual help, but part of a larger plan, a plan that she has worked hard to build. She has drawn Michael into a power play, and now he must face consequences he could not have foreseen. Tracy's every move seems to be pushing the story to a new level, where small decisions can change the lives of those involved. In this war, nothing is certain, and everyone must pay the price for the decisions they make. Willow is in the midst of a storm of new oppressive events, one of the defining moments of her life, where everything seems to be falling apart around her. The new adjustments in her relationship with Drew, the change in the way they deal with family issues, are slowly pushing Willow's life into a state of tension, out of control. The feeling of oppression from both sides, from Michael, who is fighting for custody, and from Drew, who was supposed to be her partner in this fight, is growing and making her feel like there is no way out. Things start to go further when the decisions Drew makes, the adjustments he makes, are no longer simply reasonable solutions in a legal battle but become intractable conflicts between two people who were once allies. Willow once thought Drew would be the one to protect her and her children, but now, what he does only makes her feel more tired and frustrated. Every step Drew takes now feels like a sign of distance. A new adjustment that Willow cannot accept, forcing her to face extremely difficult choices. The tension between Drew and Willow goes beyond the confrontation in the custody battle to a deeper conflict of trust and betrayal. They once had a close relationship, full of empathy and trust, but now everything has changed. Every decision Drew makes seems to go against what Willow needs, creating an imbalance in their relationship. These changes, these adjustments Drew makes, push the whole situation into a terrible explosion. And this is happening right before Willow's eyes, as she has no choice but to face the truth she has tried so hard to avoid. The tension between Drew and Willow is growing, not only because of the legal battle but also because of the secrets and hidden truths in their relationship. What they once believed, what they built, is now becoming a weapon that both of them must face. Willow is struggling not only with the changes in her relationship with Drew but also with the feelings of betrayal he has created. This stalemate not only leaves Willow feeling exhausted but also makes her rethink the choices she has made. Each day that passes, the new adjustments in the way Drew and Willow interact with each other become more complicated. Drew's decisions, while seemingly reasonable in his eyes, leave Willow feeling like she is being backed into a corner, with no choice but to give in. She can no longer live in a relationship where trust has been broken. Drew, through his actions, is no longer the person she once loved and trusted, but someone who has left her confused, disappointed, and hurt. This tension between them is not just a custody battle, but a battle for the survival of their relationship, for trust and honesty. Throughout this battle, Willow gradually realizes that she is not only fighting Drew, but also fighting herself. The decisions she made in the past, the adjustments she made to keep things stable, now become a burden she must bear. The tension between Drew and Willow becomes worse as the secrets and truths can no longer be hidden. Every time they try to find consensus, reconciliation, the rift between them only deepens. These changes are not only a shock to Willow, but also a wake-up call to what she has been missing in her relationship with Drew. But the scariest thing about all these new adjustments is their potential to explode. When secrets are exposed, when truths are revealed, not only will a new custody battle erupt, but a much larger crisis will loom. Willow realizes that she cannot maintain her relationship with Drew if they cannot find trust and understanding again, and when things explode, she faces not only the rift in their relationship but also an even bigger battle, the battle to keep what she once believed in and loved. Drew, with his adjustments, has created a situation that Willow cannot undo. She seems to have lost everything she once held dear. These changes, Drew's missteps, not only damage their relationship but also force Willow to reevaluate herself. She is thrown into a war not only with Drew but also with the values and beliefs she has built over the years. These tensions will never be resolved unless Drew and Willow find a way to overcome the secrets and betrayals, find a way to repair their relationship. So, in the current context, every new adjustment is proving that this story cannot stop at a simple legal battle. Every tension and conflict is creating a bigger explosion, a psychological war whose outcome no one can predict. Willow, in all this tension, seems to be no longer the only one suffering, but the one standing in the middle of a storm she cannot escape. The new adjustments are getting further and further. And this only proves that Willow and Drew's life will never be the same again, and this explosion is inevitable. Michael has always been known as a father determined to protect his children. A man who fights with all his might to protect the rights and safety of his children. However, in the custody battle for Wiley and Amelia, his decisions are not simply smart strategies, but gradually turn into actions of manipulation and blackmail. The war, already fraught with tension and injustice, is further complicated when Michael, in a bold move, decides to expand the scope of his strategies to an unexpected level. He begins to blackmail Judge Eva Heron, who is presiding over the case. This is not simply a surprise move, but a major change in the way Michael approaches the war. His previous tactics, while decisive and tenacious, were still within the scope of a fair and legal fight. But when these moves do not yield the results he expected, Michael begins to venture into dangerous territory, where rules, ethics, and laws no longer seem to matter. Blackmailing Judge Eva Heron is a prime example of this shift, where the goal of winning becomes paramount and no matter the cost. Previously, Michael had fought within the framework of the law, relying on evidence and logical arguments to gain custody of his children. But when this evidence was not strong enough to help him win, he began to change his tactics. Not only using the legal information he had, but also exploiting the weaknesses of his opponent in ways he had never thought of before. From a steadfast and honest father, he now became a man willing to do anything to gain power. Michael's steps now were not just about winning a lawsuit but creating absolute control over everything around him. Things seemed to be going in a direction he could not have imagined, as his decisions and actions have completely changed the structure of his family, with consequences that no one could have foreseen. This change is causing one of the new adjustments in Michael's life to escalate, as he not only regains custody of his children but also has to face conflicts and tensions in the family that he thought he had under control. However, what is remarkable here is that the impact of these changes does not only affect the custody battle but also the reconstruction of a new family, where Michael and Sasha stand together with their children. The family that Michael once dreamed of is now taking shape, but not in the way he wanted. Things begin to change when Michael, with victory in hand, realizes that power does not only come from winning in court, but also from the ability to rebuild his family. Reuniting with Sasha, who has been with him in this fight, not only brings new hope but also opens the door to new beginnings in his life. Sasha, who has endured much pain and loss in the past, now becomes an indispensable part of Michael's family. Together, they begin to build a home, a warm home for their children, where love and protection will be paramount. However, this also means that Michael will have to face choices and trade-offs that he could not have foreseen. Regaining custody of Wiley and Amelia is not the end of the fight, but only the beginning of a series of profound changes in his life. The shock that Michael caused was not only the custody of his children but also a change in the way he viewed family, responsibility and love. For Sasha, he not only had a life partner but also a partner to share the burdens and challenges of life. And as things settle down, Michael realizes that this stability comes not only from gaining control of the children, but also from rebuilding a new family, the family he always wanted. The new family that Michael and Sasha are building is not just a result of court decisions but a long journey of reconciliation, understanding, and love. The children now have not only a home but also the strong protection of two parents who will not let them suffer anymore. This stability, although somewhat bumpy and challenging, will help Michael reflect on all that he has achieved, and what he will continue to fight to protect. However, not everything is easy. Even though Michael has won custody of the children, he cannot escape the consequences of the past, especially when the secrets about Drew and Willow still lie in the dark, waiting for the opportunity to be exposed. The story is not just about winning custody of the children, but a long-term struggle to build a strong and happy family. Michael will face many new challenges and adjustments, not only legally but also emotionally and mentally, as he must ensure that his new family will not be affected by the dark truths from the past. Building a new family with Sasha. Michael and their children is not only a rebirth in Michael's life but also an important turning point in his journey as a father. He will have to learn to love and protect his children, Not only physically but also psychologically, helping them grow up in a loving and protective environment. This will not only help Michael feel more complete but also help him realize that, in life, the most important thing is not winning in court, but building a happy and complete family. As each day passes, Michael and Sasha's new family will face challenges. But their love and determination will help them overcome them all. The children, Wiley and Amelia, will grow up surrounded by love and care, and Michael will become the father he always wanted. Not only the one who wins the custody battle, but also the one who gives his children a bright and stable future. This change, while seemingly just a shock in the custody battle, is actually a new beginning for Michael and his family. A family built not only on power and victory, but also on love, reconciliation, and patience. As things settle, Michael will realize that this new family, with Sasha and the children, is exactly what he needed to be happy and find peace in his life.